Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about G1 nights 5 and 6, and we're going to of course start with night 5, which I think was an incredible night of action up and down the card. I think there was some wonderful matches, some of the best of the tournament so far, and easily the best night. And I want to also point out the crowd and the stage setup. It all made this G1 night feel huge. And so without wasting any time, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So the first match of the night was Yoshihashi versus Tungaloa, and I actually really liked this match. I wasn't expecting to like this match, but of course Yoshihashi, who is him this G1, made me like it. He was giving Tonga a lot. He was doing a really good job of working over the knee, which sells the story that Tonga's having where, he's coming back from injury, he's having to fight with so much grit and determination, and I feel like this was the best match to show that for him. The pace was really good, and Yoshi was working really quick just because he was trying to also sell the Ospreay injuries that he had from that match, because that was a hard-ass hitter. And yeah, this was a really great match. He kept trying to go super fast, Yoshi did, to get Tonga to quit, and again, it was just a great way of showing how Tonga has that fight in him. He has that dog in him, and he wouldn't give up. And yeah, this was unexpectedly a really good match to open up the tournament, and a great start to night 5. Gabe Kidd versus Ren Narita, match number 2, and this match has easily match of the tournament potential for me. I love this hard-hitting, strong style shit, and I think this was wonderful. It started off with Ren not letting Gabe attack him from the ramp because he just knew him so well, and I honestly love that because it was just a perfect way to show that these guys know each other, and all Ren wanted to do was just fight him. He just wanted to beat the shit out of Kidd, and yeah, they were beating the hell out of one another. A small thing I want to point out too is when Narita does the crouch down, or he kind of like stalks his opponent, that he looks like an absolute killer when he does that, and I love that vibe for him. Yeah, these guys were just going insane, and Gabe Kidd during this whole match, I figured out what he is, like boiled down. He's gonna give you two things. He's gonna give you some crispy ass chops and some hard ass hits, and he's gonna give a crispy ass fuck you during the match to the crowd, to you, to the ref. It doesn't matter what it is, and I love it. Gabe Kidd has become someone who I've easily become a fan of. And yeah, it's not saying either that Narita doesn't have those crispy ass shots, because he certainly does. The way he hits is just next level. I think he might be the best out of the three young Musketeers. And yeah, he was just hitting so hard, but he stood out a lot in submission wrestling, where the speed and fluidity he was transitioning from submission to submission was next level. He was doing that, and Gabe was just trying to hit him as hard as possible just to get him to quit, and I think that worked so well for both of them. Ren, obviously the Shibata tree, he wanted to work him over, try to get him to stop, just wear him down, and Gabe was just fighting with that dog in him. He's got that dog in him like Tonga did in the first match, but like multiplied by 2 because he's Gabe Kidd. The finish was a little shit. I know it's Gabe's thing and the Bullet Club's thing to cheat and do these underhanded shit like low blows and stuff, but I would have loved to see him just outpower Narita and just own him that way. I think it would have done a lot for him, and I think it would have built up the story a little bit more with him just learning to manage his aggression and use it at the right times. But I understand why they did it. I completely get it, so I'm not really too mad at it. And honestly, just let Gabe Kidd lead the Bullet Club. I like Finley so far this G1. This is the first time we're really getting to see him. But him and Coughlin as the big, strong style two that just want to hit you super hard and are pissed off at the world, I'm down for that. This match was wonderful. I think match of the night for me, it was excellent. Match number 3, Great Okan versus El Phantasmo, and I again like this match more than I thought I would. El Phantasmo has been amazing this G1 run. I have fallen in love with his character. He's just funny, he's cool, he has the look, I just am enjoying him a lot. The spots were ranging from ELP going for this insane flying knee to the outside, it was some crazy distance that looked incredible. Also him going for nipple twists, and Great Okan liking it and just kind of vibing, twist his nipples, and then he got him right back by biting his nipples. So the spots were all over the place this match, and I think that did a lot for it. This was just a lot of fun, and just continued this run of really good matches for El Phantasmo and this current night of the G1. So yeah, very fun match overall. Chase Owens versus Hikuleo. When I saw this match, I think I kind of wanted to throw up, and made me feel a little bit queasy in my stomach. And honestly, just like the crowd in this one, I've decided to completely tune out Chase Owens. They are just so fucking boring. That man is a bum. He should not be in the G1, and the fact that he should be considered a war crime. What also should be considered a war crime was how long this match was, because it made it so brutal to sit through. Yeah, of course, not that great. Hikuleo was fine, but he's just two boring guys in a boring match with boring spots. It's not going to get very good. It's just not. Sorry. Like, in this match, I'm going to spoil it, is the worst match of the G1 so far to me, because I just was completely uninterested and it was so long. But that makes Chase Owens the bottom 3 matches on my sheet. He's not that guy. Of course he's not. Everyone knows this. He's a bum. Get him out of the G1. I just want to fall asleep. Let's just move on quickly. When I saw this match on the rundown, I was hyped, of course, because I like these two guys so far. I think they're very fun. You know, Will is obviously Will. And although I haven't seen older Kenta matches, he's still, like, entertaining to me. He has that look. But I was worried, honestly, that Kenta wouldn't try very hard, because that's kind of his thing. His body's just so worn down, he's not going to try very hard. But yeah, he gave it his shit in this match. He put his body on the line once more. And yeah, this match was great. He started out by just mocking Ospreay, which I thought was pretty damn funny. But after all that kind of started, we were going a little bit slow at the start. It very quickly picked up, and it picked up strong as shit. They ended on the outside. There was a certain spot where Kenta threw Ospreay into like a guardrail, and holy shit, it looked like the guardrail or Will Ospreay could have flew to like the top seats. It was insane. I don't know if I've ever seen someone hit a guardrail that hard. Kenta was also running the fastest I've ever seen him run in the G1. Like, I've only seen these 3 matches now, but this is the fastest I've seen him run all G1. And yeah, it paid off, because this was a great match. I'm kind of so iffy on the cheating stuff, like, especially from Kent. Like, I know it's Bullet Club's thing, like I said before, but I'm iffy on it a lot of the time, no matter what. But I think it worked in this one, because just Kenta makes it work, and, you know, Ospreay was selling really hard, as he always does, and makes everything look great. And something I want to point out in particular is Ospreay's hook kicks during this match. They were hitting so snug, and they look so clean. I love that move. It looks deadly as fuck, and it works so well. Ospreay is incredible. His selling, the way he hits, like, I've seen, this is just standard single stuff from him outside of the Kenny matches, and I think a one-off I've seen of him, and he's just so good. I see the hype every time I watch him, and yeah, this was just another good match in his G1. Overall, a really great match. Kenta was trying his hardest. Ospreay was obviously trying very hard, because he always puts in the effort, and it was great to see. This was a wonderful match. So I've said before in an early G1 video, where I think it was Shota versus Ren, I love a young guy prove it match, and this was that. This was an absolute banger. The match started with an early elbow exchange. They were just hitting so hard. It was like, you know, the Eddie Kingston machine gun chops. It was that speed, but with elbows. They were just boom, 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 and it was trading. The crowd was getting lifted, and they were just trying to prove that they could take it. Their chin was stronger than the other guys, and I love that. I love these young guy prove it matches. Like I said, throughout the whole match, Shota would hit these huge moves, and then Kaido would just rebound so fast. Like, there was a certain, like, he had a huge kick on him, and Kaido just sprung up and lariated his ass, like, out of his boots, and he, like, stood up super quick. Like, oh, it's just so good. His speed is incredible on these rebounds. His speed is incredible in general, I think, but especially, like, on these counters. But then we went into the final 7 minutes or so, and I think it super picked up. It was a super fast sprint. It's like a damn cheat code whenever you get to these last few minutes with these young guys, and the crowd was on their feet. Shota countered the Shining Wizard into an STF, which really kicked it all off and looked great, might I say. I thought that was awesome. And then the main focus of the last stretch of the match was the figure 4 that Kaido put Shota in, and he was just struggling so hard. He was holding onto the ref at one point, trying to find some kind of relief from the move, and it just looked so deadly. Shota was selling it like his knee was about to explode. But then Kaido let go, and I get it, you know, he wanted to just finish it. He thought he could finish it, but I don't think that Shota did a very good job of selling it throughout the latter portion of the match. I would have liked him to kind of limp on it a little bit, you know what I mean, play it up, because it was a hold that lasted for about 5 minutes. It should really be putting in a little bit more effort, and I honestly would have liked to see either Shota just break that barrier and get to the rope, or just kind of Kaido just keep it on throughout the entire rest of the match, I think it would have worked just fine. Yeah, and then they kind of like kicked it up during the closing sequence. There were some huge spots just trying to really get the other one to quit. And yeah, I thought there would be a winner towards the end. I thought that one of them would get the edge, but it wasn't, and they draw, and it continues this run of just these Musketeers like giving it everything they have every time they go out to the ring. And I really liked it. They're all like showing that they're just the true fighters of Japan, and they've all looked wonderful. We're going to get to another one later. But yeah, Shota and Kaido are just next level. I really like Kaido. I think people were talking about how he needed to prove it this one. He's been doing a lot of stuff in Noah that hasn't been great, and he's proved it. And I think you can tell by his face he loves this shit. No one needs to give him a big fat bag, because he is going to quickly leave to New Japan if they don't fucking pay his ass. Yeah, this was a great match, a really good showing for both guys, and they are having an incredible run, both of them so far. Wonderful match to continue the night. Kazuchika Okada versus Taichi. There has been a lot of praise online for this match, and I understand, because it was a banger. Okada started this match by just trying to wrap it up quick, was just going for, he's going for the Rainmaker and stuff. But yeah, this kind of just shows you, like, throughout this tournament, just 3 matches in, he's gotten more arrogant, more cranky. He just doesn't want to do this shit. He wants to just get this over with. But Taichi was not going to let him. He was going to fight hard. And yeah, Taichi really worked in this match as just being the guy who Okada would hit him as hard as he could. He would strike him he would just lay into him. And then Taichi would just hit one kick. He would just hit one good kick, like he did in the Will Ospreay match when, he sold the equilibrium and stuff like that. Taichi would hit one good kick and Okada would be on the ground. And I love Taichi's kicks. I think they look so smooth. They look so clean. They always hit so snug. Yeah, that was wonderful. There were some great falls near the end. Me and the crowd both bit on that insane near fall. You watch the match, you know what I'm talking about. Okada genuinely kicked out. I think his hand to the ring was like definitely like that close. It was incredible. That was one of the closest near falls I have seen in forever. And there was another thing I wanted to point out where Taichi did a roll up and he ended up on his stomach opposite of Okada's shoulders. And it was something I'd never seen before, and the crowd bit every time. Yeah, this was a wonderful match. It was just that classic, the bully older guy who's just cranky and doesn't want to be there versus the crowd favorite that I think ended up doing a lot for both these guys. This was incredible. So I mentioned we'd be talking about one of the Musketeers later on in the video, and here we are, Sanada versus Yota Tsuji. This was the first time that Sanada has made me feel something throughout the tournament. 3 matches in, I know, but this is the first time I've really felt like, even just for a moment, that Sanada is him. And of course, it's with one of these Musketeers who are all incredible. This match started out slow, but gradually got quicker and quicker as we got to that time limit, which literally is just such a cheat code. The crowd gets so amped into it. I'm hyper focused on the match whenever that time limit goes closer and closer. And yeah, you can sense the desperation in this one just for Sanada to clean this up, because he was not losing to one of those young guys. He was not losing to a young boy. He's not doing that shit. He's the world champion. So he was just hitting harder and harder. There was so much desperation in all of his moves. At about halfway, they really kicked it into gear, and they were quick and fluid while also remaining super technically sound, which honestly, technically sound is exactly what Sanada is. But the way they were moving, he was different this match. I think it was his hometown and stuff, and something made him flip, because he was moving different during his than compared to his other 2 matches. And a great example of that was the insanely good-looking O'Connor roll counter from Tsuji, where he kicks Sanada into the air so he can get him into like a version of the skull end, just to kind of fuck with him. He's gonna fuck with him. That was so fire. That looks so clean. I love that. He kicked him into the air so smooth and just got him right in for that submission. It was wonderful. This match kind of feels like the match that should start Sanada's G1 run. This should be the one where you're like, yeah, this is where he got going. And I hope he keeps up this energy, because he was really good here. And it was the first time I felt that he was really good in any of these moments. And I love to see that. As for Tsuji, all I got to say about him is him and the 3 Musketeers have it. They have what's going to make them special. They're already special. I love those guys. I've loved all their matches, and this one's no different. This is a wonderful match to close out the night. I thought it was a great main event. That's going to do it for G1 Night 5. As you can see with my ratings here on the side, there are a lot of 4s because this night was incredible. We're not even going to talk about the Chase Owens match because to me that didn't exist. That was a figment of my imagination. But all the other matches were incredible. This was the best night of the G1 very easily, and I loved it up and down. So hopefully I'm going to go watch G1 Night 6 right now. I hope that stands up to it, but we're going to see, and let's just go ahead and get right into Night 6. Just got done watching G1 Night 6. It's the next day. I was really excited to see how they'd follow it from G1 Night 5. Turns out they wanted to serve us up a plate of shit, so let's just get right into it. Match number 1, we start off the night with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Alex Coughlin, or Coughlin. This was simply just a very solid match. I don't really have much to say about it. I enjoyed Zack Sabre trying to go toe-to-toe with Coughlin strong style, but not really working out, and him at the end just kind of giving up and staying in his own lane and him winning that way. The time flew by. This was a solid match. Lots of good stuff in it, just standard stuff from both these guys that honestly is really good. Not much to say. Second match, Tama Tonga versus Mikey Nichols. Another situation where there's just not much to say. It's not really surprising here. I was kind of hoping there'd be more to say in the last one, but it's not really that surprising here. It was well worked. They did well, but nothing that really moved me in any direction. The one move they tried to go for was Mikey Nichols going for a moonsault and then Tama countering with a stun gun, and that ended up just looking awkward and it had no impact. So, it was a fine mid-card match. Nothing much to say here either. Third match, again, not much to say. Team DK just starting off the night. First 3 matches, it was pretty cool. Shane Hayes had a kind of jumpy start to the match, going super quick, with Goto just trying to fight him off because he was dealing with that rib injury, and he just tried to eventually catch him off, and he did. At the end, he rolled him up. I don't know what this version of the roll-up is called, but it looked fine. This was over in 2 minutes. Not much to say here either. Eddie Kingston versus Hanare. This was my most anticipated match of the night, and honestly, it kind of left me a little disappointed. The whole night left me disappointed, but this one in particular, Eddie was selling an elbow injury from an AEW match, and it was on his right arm, and he's obviously a right-handed striker, so he always went for those chops, so they just weren't hitting as hard, and then Hanare would just knock him right back on his ass. It really made Eddie's desperation to win just more effective, and his ultimate victory just, it worked much better. I really enjoyed that he was trying to use that power, and then Hanare just kind of hitting him one big shot and he would just fall down. But this all worked to serve for the finish, where Eddie just hit him with 2 back fists, and if Hanare would have kicked out right there, Eddie would have been done for because he just kind of slumped over and laid on him. He was done. He went through too much. Hanare was hitting him too hard, and I thought that was really good, but this match kind of left me disappointed because I was really hoping it'd be better. Not because it was a bad match, because it wasn't a bad match. I enjoyed the story. I actually think the story was really good. But I was hoping it'd be better. I was hoping a minimum of 4. It's not 4. But these guys have both been on great runs, and Hanare's really really spoken to me lately, and I was hoping he'd give me more here, but he was just alright. Eddie was as good as ever. He's Eddie. I love Eddie too, so I'm definitely going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, this match was fine. I'm glad Eddie won, though, because I couldn't stand to see him lose again, I'm afraid. I didn't want to see it happen, especially after losing to Evil. Yeah, I couldn't take it, so good match, a little disappointing, though. Tetsuya Naito versus Toru Yano. This was a Yano match. It was kind of focused around Naito taking his time, being lazy, not really giving his all into this match because, it's Yano. But it worked fine here. The crowd was getting into it, and that's about the best you can ask for from a Yano match. This match was whatever. Again, not much else to say, which is 4 out of 5, I think, so far, for not much to say, so not a great night. Shingo Takagi versus Tomohiro Ishii. This match just kind of kept up the run that these guys were going on, just always solid, and sometimes, especially with Shingo reaching that next level, but this match didn't really reach that. They started out quick, of course, hitting with those fast elbows, and that just felt like it was never going to end, and they kept that intensity throughout. But really what made the difference was that Ishii just couldn't keep up with Shingo. He was just, he's older than him, and he couldn't keep up with that intensity the whole match, and I really liked that leading to the finish because he really did give it all he's had. It went down in the last 2 minutes, and I enjoyed that. Pretty much the story of two guys who hit hard and won't stop hitting until one of them goes down. And so I appreciated that Shingo just kind of outlasted Tomohiro. But yeah, this match was very solid. It was a fun match. Honestly, you could make a case for Shingo being the tip top of the G1 so far, and I wouldn't say anything about it. So yeah, this is just another fun match between these two. Jeff Cobb versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I don't know if I would have expected this, but this match moved me. This was the best match of the night, and I love Cobb simply overpowering him and showing him up by just doing things like the Sling Blade, and Tana just not being able to do anything about it because he's just a little bit older than him. Cobb has more power. Cobb kept kind of telling him, "Show me your power." You know, Tana was at first he was like, "Oh, power, yes, I'll show you. I'll hit you really hard," but Cobb just he couldn't keep up with him. He was too strong. One example of that was him bashing his spine into the corner and then slamming him onto the apron, which took an insane amount of strength and I thought made Cobb look amazing. Yeah, he was just kind of chirping him all match. Cobb would not let up on Tanahashi, doing things like the air guitar on his abs, which I think was really funny. And then he eventually turned the air guitar to a ukulele, which was also pretty funny to me. Tana also did a somersault towards the end of the match that looked like he hit Cobb with a ton of bricks. Like he just fell down like a big bag full of rocks. And honestly, credit to Cobb for taking that because that shit looked like it hurt. It looked like he was going to be sore in the chest and the stomach for days after that. But yeah, honestly, Tana throughout this whole match was selling really hard for Cobb and he was making him look really good. And I thought this was one of his best matches I've seen him in. This was just a lot of fun, honestly, and it was a very unexpected match of the night for me. And this is the first time that Cobb has moved me, and it was a sneaky good match. So yeah, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with Cobb getting the win too, 3-0. That's a big deal. And this is the first time I've really been like, yeah, Cobb is pretty funny. Cobb is cool, especially with the power stuff. So yeah, this match worked for me. Match of the night, easily, pretty damn good. The main event, evil matches always suck, I've come to learn, but like this one sucked the most. I mean, it's always just interference, and I get that's kind of his thing, but that doesn't make it good. It also still sucks. This match was awful. It was boring for the most part. Like there were some fine, entertaining spots. You know, the factions were brawling, and there were ref spots throughout the whole thing. They took out 5 different refs in this match. Like I think they might even taken out 6. No, they had 5. It was 5, but still, the whole match it lasted too damn long. It was over 15 minutes, I think. And I feel so bad for the fans that had to have this as a main event because this shit was not good. I do feel bad too because I've liked Finley throughout this G1, but evil matches are just awful. Finley just looked very uninteresting somehow. He didn't stand out, and I feel like this was maybe a chance for him to because evil sucks. But yeah, I also feel bad because the fans just didn't get to hear Kevin Kelly rat out Dick Togo to the refs. I mean, he does that every time he's in the match, and he's just a little rat. He's a little narc. But I think that's one of the funniest Kevin Kelly things he does on commentary. But aside from that, this match was not good. Terrible main event, not good. Nights 5 and 6 were just a tale of two halves, honestly. Night 5 really was amazing. It was the best night of the G1 by far, and I think you can argue that this night was the worst. You see the star ratings on the side. David Finley and Evil coming for Chase Owens' bottom spot as the worst G1 match. Yeah, this was just a pretty bad night of wrestling, but hopefully it gets better. You know, we have Ospreay and Okada coming up. I mean, that's going to be amazing, so stick around on this channel, leave a like, subscribe down below, and make sure you tune in to the next video, which is obviously going to be nights 7 and 8 of the G1. You know, we're getting through it. We're fighting through with some bangers scattered here and out. But yeah, subscribe down below, like I said. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment. And yeah, have a good one. Peace, guys.